Here are 5 of the many ways cops oppress people with a disability. Number 1. People with intellectual or learning disabilities are especially vulnerable. They may have difficulty navigating court bureaucracy, they may be seen as unreliable witnesses, and they may have difficulty expressing themselves. So when they're hurt or abused, the police often don't help. And it's easier to pin crimes on them. You've probably seen Making a Murderer, where the police pressured 16-year-old Brendan Dassey into making what may have been a false confession. He had a serious learning disability. In the US, 12% of people who were exonerated of crimes had given false confessions, but 71% of people with an intellectual disability who were exonerated of crimes had given a false confession. Because if the cops can't find a real killer, they coerce a vulnerable person into confessing. Number 2. Pre-existing conditions are an excuse for killer cops. Tasers have killed hundreds of people, and historically the manufacturer, now called Axon, would deny responsibility by saying it's not the taser that killed them, it was a pre-existing condition, like their made-up excited delirium or a heart condition. It really is true that tasers are more dangerous for people with heart conditions, but the company frames this as though it's your fault for having a pre-existing condition that the cop didn't know about. But if your weapon kills people who have an extremely common health condition, then it's just not safe to use. You shouldn't shoot unarmed people with it. And when Derek Chauvin was on trial for the murder of George Floyd, his defense argued that Floyd died of a pre-existing heart condition and drugs in his system, that kneeling on his neck for 9 minutes had nothing to do with him dying. Number 3, policing creates disability, like blinding people with pellet guns, damaging their hearing with a flashbang or long-range acoustic device, or like myself, I have post-traumatic stress disorder from a cop choking me. Lots of people are traumatized by police violence, and when they need help, guess who shows up with a literal trigger? Because 4, police often act as first responders in mental health emergencies, killing people who need help. Showing up with guns and shouting, threatening violence and prison sentences, these are not actually good ways to calm somebody down. Even if a cop tries to de-escalate, they just aren't mental health professionals. No short training course is going to turn them into a nurse or a psychologist. Thankfully, in places like the UK and soon New South Wales where I live, health workers will be sent to mental health calls, not cops. But of course, every health issue is better dealt with before it's an emergency. And that's where the system really fails. Because finally, number 5, police are the state's solution to disability. Where I live, Labor governments are taking money out of disability services and putting more into police. And when people with disability fall through the cracks, they can end up in poverty and commit some property crime. They might need medication that the government considers an illicit drug. And they might not get the care they need, so they act out. The police are there to handle these people when they slip through the cracks. Handle them with violence.